Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. I hope you're buckled up. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for spending another glorious amount of time together, because it is going to be glorious, I tell you. It's going to be out of this world, if you will. Because guess what? Uranus is getting probed. They got a lot of important and crazy, amazing things that put it tied together, more things lining up, more people sending me things that I ignore the first time and the second time, and then I gotta literally take a moment and say, okay, Lord, what's the final piece of the puzzle? As I did on Twitter, by the way, did that this morning before taping this show. Actually put out there, I said, so I pray God give me a message to say. Give me the treasure to display for everyone today. It's 10:32, you know what to do. Where's the final piece of the puzzle from me, from you? Let's see what else I'm supposed to do. And then I went to my email. That's what I usually do. So I send that little tweet out because, sometimes I share things here and I tell you, hey, it just comes because I don't know what to do. And I ask and I pray. A lot of stuff to talk about. And not just the very concerning news that Uranus is getting probed. Not just that. Not just another enormous, ginormous asteroid that's made of all metal that NASA's very concerned about. Not just that. I got so many people sending me stuff about Joan of Arc. I don't know why. Maybe because everybody's like, hey, it's this person in the tomb. Hey, it's that person in the tomb. Because I just did this program. I don't know. If you're new to the show, just did this program a couple of days ago. This one up there. Notre Dame Cathedral. The sepulcher being the woman that's inside now on the program. We've been talking for a while, and I'm still getting criticized for a video I did about how a man and a woman are equally valuable. I did a program talking about the woman, the role of the woman, explaining what the woman was, how the woman is a picture of the soul of man, the psyche of man, if you will. Ironic that that's the name of the asteroid, but we're not going to go there yet. We got a lot more to touch on before we have all those major goosebumps. I can't have everybody chilly putting on sweaters. That's what I usually do. I like being comfy in my nice sweaters. But I put out that message on Twitter, and then what? Couple of minutes later, I get a response. I go to my email and I get a response from George in regards to your latest video. I don't think George talks like that, but I like your name, George. And I think when I hear the name George, I think of somebody that talks very smart, in regards, like if you put in regards in the email, like in regards to your latest email. I mean, I can tell you're an educated dude. I appreciate that about you, George. Proper grammar's nice too, with the commas where they're supposed to be. And reading the Bible scripture, in the 14th century, another historical character comes to mind. Just came to mind. Poof. But not just him. I got Lucinda sent me stuff about Joan of Arc right after I put up that video. I got one thing after another with Joan of Arc because, I don't know, I was thinking, well, maybe they think it's Joan of Arc that's buried there. I don't know. She was burned at the stake and her ashes were thrown in the Seine River, which is that big river, which turns into those two rivers. Same river, splits it in two, where the Notre Dame Cathedral went. Go back and watch the show. I can't recap. I don't know if that's the reason why Lucinda sent me the info about Joan of Arc, but I wasn't really paying attention. I don't pay attention. It's like God has to get my attention another way, usually. I didn't see the connection yet. I didn't get it because I didn't research Joan of Arc. I did today. Got a lot of stuff to share. So George continues in Joan of Arc. After she was burned at the stake, it would be very common for the Catholic Church to steal her and seal her up in a lead sarcophagus out of fear that she would resurrect to further plague the church. Her beautification and elevation to sainthood, it was more of a response to the common person's request than an actual function. So he was saying that they used to seal these people in these lead caskets because they were worried they'd rise again. She was sainted later. I'm going to get into that. It gets very, very interesting. But I had a show that I felt was wanting, if you know, to use a word that George would probably use, wanting, you know? It was lacking something. It needed more. And I didn't know. I didn't know what that more was. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. That huge Satan missile that just flew over. Ironic timing, of course, because we just had Passover. And I just did the whole video about will the angel of death pass over. And then the angel of death really in Scripture is kind of like Satan. You know, he's the father of all lies, the murderer from the beginning. You know, there's no truth in him. He wants to steal from you and then kill you. So the angel of death, the messenger of death, would be a messenger of lies, because to be carnally minded is death, to be ignorant is death. So the angel of death would kind of be like Satan, if you will. And it looks like the angel of death passed over. There was like a missile test, the latest one, the R-36 ballistic missile, you know. And they nicknamed that sucker Satan. Nicknamed it Satan. Very spooky. Because it's all tied together. All of this stuff just like weaves in and out. See how I weave these stories in and out? Bounce around from this, that, and the other thing. That's why if you're in a live chat and you're really paying attention there, yeah, last live chat, I noticed somebody said, "Oh no, I got lost. I got lost in the video." Because what happens is you get sucked in, and then if you don't really pay attention to what I'm saying, then the big wahoo at the end, it doesn't make much sense. So you have to go back and rewatch that, which I don't mind. I don't mind the replays. I like when you share around and you watch it. Watch it 15 times if you want. Just put it on auto replay. Helps me, because then the algo thinks a lot of people are watching it, and then more people watch it. That's why it's so important when you come here to hit like and share and comment. These are the little things that you could do that doesn't really cost much, and it's nice because it helps. It helps to encourage more people to come here and then hopefully to go to God and then be better people and then change the world and have the kingdom of God revealed to everybody. Wouldn't that be nice? Because we got a lot of weird things going on. We got a lot of instability in the world. A lot of people are very, very concerned, much like they were in Joan of Arc's day, much like they were then. But before I get into that story, let me talk to you about Uranus. Not a lot of people are interested in Uranus. I am. I'm one of those people. And but I had a lot of people, of course, when they heard about this big probe going to Uranus, I had a lot of people, they were like, "Oh, good Jacob, at Jacob Israel, at Jacob." I mean, I got so many. It was so great. Uranus, by the way, very significant, because I didn't know the significance of Uranus as a planet. It just was, I talked about it because, we talk about that Planet X, the Nibiru, the Planet 9, all that stuff, Argopolis, whatever you want to call it. The big red dragon, some people call it, the planet that comes around every once in a while and bangs stuff around and sends a lot of stuff our way. Uranus is stationary. It has its own weird orbit. But, I didn't really understand why. I just like saying it. It was funny to me. So, of course, Uranus is a planet. So that's where the mug comes from. But then I found out that there was a tie to Nibiru and all that stuff. And you know what? Maybe at the end of this video, if I can find it, what I'll do is I'll either link the video or I'll play that video so that you get the ins and outs. Otherwise, this program's going to go on too long. And I got to tell you, it takes too long to edit these things. I got to try to keep this one short. I'm probably already 10 minutes in as it is. But they're sending up to study for 10 years. This is of utmost importance, a top priority. That's what they call it, a top priority for the space science community. They got to go to Uranus. They got to send a probe there. Got to probe Uranus. Got to make sure it doesn't have the virus of the crown, like they do in China. So now the only spacecraft to ever visit Uranus was NASA's Voyager 2 mission, which flew by in 1986. But this is a big deal. A lot of people are very excited about going to Uranus. A lot of people are excited about Uranus. I'm one of them, So I'm never going to get through the show. I'm never going to get through it. Because there's some weird stuff going on with Uranus and Neptune. Neptune, right? We've been talking about Neptune, the god of the sea. The trident, right? Neptune becomes Poseidon. It's all a picture of unrepentant carnality. The trident being the picture of the soul, which is also on the flag. And Neptune all of a sudden in the news. Neptune, yeah, there's going to be a new coach to, some basketball team. Somebody said this to me. You would think because Ethan's such a big basketball fanatic, you'd think I'd know. I'd really pay attention to what's going on. I'm not a big sports guy. I was very sick when I was younger. I loved to play basketball, but I never really got, I watched that stuff back then. I don't have time. I'm always looking at the world. So anyways, he's going to be the coach, Neptune. Yeah. So it's in the news, which is kind of interesting. Elon Musk, because he's always so strange. He is. He's a peculiar guy. He tweeted out, "Had to be done." So someone put out that, this is a top priority, and then he just responds, "Had to be done." Why did it have to be done, Elon? Elon, why don't you tell us, right? You know everything. Come on. Why did it have to be done? Why did everybody have to go to Uranus? What's wrong with Uranus, Elon, that everybody's got to go there and it had to be done? Why did a probe need to go to Uranus, Elon? Why did it have to be done? I know back in the day you talked about preferences. I'm asking you, why did it have to be done? Maybe something going on. Maybe they're concerned. I talked about Neptune, of course, losing. It's getting cold. The hearts of the world are growing cold. Very strange as I'm looking up, of course, Neptune and the Trident and everything else. Its visit to Psyche. That's the name of it. Big asteroid. It's the largest metallic asteroid. It promises to show iron, nickel core of a dead planet. And new research shows, however, that this is a big deal. So in August, the spacecraft is going to launch a 41 month, not 401 miles, that wouldn't be good, journey to Psyche, the biggest metallic asteroid, the behemoth, which is, by the way, a name that's written in scripture. The behemoth, Psyche, the Trident. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? This is all connected. They said we'll never be able to get to a look at the Earth's core. Think of the symbolism. We'll never be able to get a look at the Earth's core, but when we look at Psyche, we can kind of get an idea. It's interesting. It's kind of like they're trying to get to, they're trying to become God. That's it. They want the soul of man to become God. They want to get the secrets of everything. So symbolically, it's playing out, out there. Some people say there is no out there. I don't care. I haven't gotten a rocket. I don't know what's going on, but this is stuff that's just in the news. So don't hold it against me, because spiritually speaking, it's significant. Psyche, the trident, all of this stuff that we've talked about, starting off with the woman and how a woman can lead a congregation, to the woman getting slapped for being bald, to the woman, the lady of Notre Dame Cathedral, the woman, Joan of Arc. That's where we end up. So everybody sent me all of this stuff about Joan of Arc, and I didn't really understand why. I kind of got it. But then I realized when I was doing the research, nobody told me. I even reached out to Lucinda. I'm like, hey, why did you send this to me spiritually? Why did you send this stuff to me? Because unfortunately I can't read every single email. I'm grateful when you all send me stuff, but like God will get my attention. So I went back and said, why did you do it? I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that her ashes were poured into the Seine River. Now, in my last video, I talked about the Seine River and the significance of it. You know what the name means? I didn't talk about this on the show. I should have. It means like it's a net. A seine is a big fishing net, and it has like floats on the top of it and has weights on the bottom. It's like the old days, right? That's the way they used to do it. And what they do is they pull it together, and they come in with the sides, and then by the end, you'd have this great big catch. The net. Interesting. So all that stuff that went down at the cathedral, when the cathedral burnt down, you got to watch that last show if you haven't seen it. Really, it's going to blow your mind. Because of that sepulcher that was discovered at the base of it. The woman. It's all about the woman. We're all talking about the woman. And we got another woman burned at the stake, right? Joan of Arc. Burnt 3 times to make sure she was crisped enough. How terrible. 19-year-old girl doing God's will, in her head at least. Some people said she was crazy. Some people said she wasn't. But there was no denying that this young girl, because there was like this prophecy, Merlin. He was like a literal figure, believe it or not. And he had this prophecy about how one woman would lose France and then a young virgin would save France. And so from that area that she was at, which is most likely, where the connection lies, that maybe she was indeed hearing from God. I don't know. She had a vision. When she was, because what was happening was things were getting worse and worse and worse in the country. There was an assassination of one of the leaders, and then all Hades breaks out, big civil war, and they were worried because England took up a very crucial piece of land. Do you see where I'm going with this? How the story, I had no idea the story was so connected to the story that's going on right now. I'm just hoping that the Joan of Arcs of the world aren't the witnesses that are going to be burnt at the stake. That wouldn't be good, especially since that's kind of like in my novel. I'm going to get there. I'm hoping that's not the case. A lot of people say that that's going to happen for the witnesses of God. They need to be put to death. But I believe that it's a very spiritual story. That's why I Am a Witness, that t-shirt, not this one, this is the Buckle Up shirt. You can get everything, by the way, in the description below. There's a store that Noah created for me. It's Jacob's Ladder store. Click on it, and then you can get all of this stuff, from the Uranus is a Planet mug to this, and it's a help to this to me. It's a help to me, because this is how I pay the bills. So thank you if you get it. Hopefully you enjoy it. And that I Am a Witness shirt, the 11:11, a lot of people ask me all the time. I've come to understand it to be Revelation 11:11. It's about the witnesses, the life of God going back into them. Look that verse up and read that entire chapter. So I look at it as the witnesses are being raised in the land, not so much that they're going to be literally put to the stake, but it's a possibility. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I don't want it to happen. I want to live a long life. The Jacob in the old days, he lived a long life. So I'm hoping the same, Maybe one of my kids could save the world, turn things around. Who knows? Maybe it's Shiloh. You want to see a picture of Shiloh? I keep this up here. She goes, Dad, it's like you got an altar to me. That's from her party, her graduation party. This is Shiloh. That's her. That's my baby girl. She's such a good girl. All of them working so hard. I'm so proud of them all. But Joan of Arc, so she has this vision. Bright light shines, and there's Michael. And next to Michael are two martyrs of the, of the faith, because she was not very studied. She couldn't read or write, but she was brought up to be like a pious religious person. Knew all about this, the Lord, but didn't know how to read or write. So she has this blinding light. There's Michael. Michael, by the way, it's on my necklace. Michael's connected to Jacob too. So God sends Michael and his angels for the encampment. It's a very cool story. You have to dig to find it, but it's a very cool story. But when I got this necklace, the Dan got me this necklace. That's Danielle, my wife. It's not a weird name. It's just I like calling her the Dan because she's so cool. She got me this a long time ago, but we think it's a Mandela effect, or just both of us are really silly, because I told everybody on the show for years that's St. Christopher. People ask me, what is it? Oh, it's St. Christopher, because my wife liked the story about how Christopher carried Christ across the stormy river. The baby Jesus across the river, that this was the picture. And I remember her giving it to me and her telling me the story about why she considered St. Christopher to be similar. But then one day I looked down at it and I said, Danielle, this isn't St. Christopher at all. I've been telling people for years this medal is St. Christopher. It's not. It's Michael. It's Michael. And he's got a big, it's not a trident. He's got like a big spear, and he's fighting back the devil. So I guess Michael appeared to St. Joan of Arc as well. By the way, that wasn't her name. That's just what she's come to be known. Her name was Jeanne d'Arc. I probably pronounced that wrong. Jeanne Romé, or possibly Jeanne Vousson. Jeanne Vousson. What is your name? You want to tell me what was going on?
The Lord sent me to deliver France, to lead its armies against England.
What is your name?
Jeanne Vousson.
I think Joan of Arc makes a little more sense. Probably, they can sell that a little better. No one really knows what her real name is because she couldn't read or write. How about that? She even when she signed her confession, and it was like with a mark, and that sealed her fate. But ironically, that when all this is going on, there's a king. They called him the Mad King, King Charles, and he was like dementia. It's weird how these things happen again and again, right? The stories, they continue to Nabonidus, from Nabonidus to Mad King. Then we got the story of this Mad King. It's just crazy. And then we got another one who was like shaking hands with people in the air. There's nobody there. This bunny's telling him, go this way, go that way. It's so strange. So some people like George may believe that Joan of Arc is going to be discovered in that sealed, sarcophagus. I don't know. I have no idea. But I thought that it would be interesting because I said, it'll be a woman. I don't know. Once again, I'm just saying this would be interesting because this is the story we're telling. And then here we have the picture of God appearing to this uneducated, young girl who was, a virgin and very pious, and, the story where they had to keep her alive. So they dressed her like a guy because, of course, back then you couldn't. And by the way, that was like, you get in big trouble for that. That was one of her charges for dressing like a guy. She was let off the first time. She said, I'll never do it again. But then she was imprisoned. And she did it again because people were threatening to, do terrible things to her as a woman. So she tried to protect herself. But didn't work. She even threw herself. She was put in a tower. She even leapt to her death into a moat, but didn't die. So, God had other plans, I guess. There's we had the conjunction of the Jupiter and Neptune that just took place, and I was thinking because right now, actually, April 23rd, there's this great lineup of all the stars, all the planets are lining up, which I stumbled upon by accident. because I have a little app on my phone, and for whatever reason it started. And what it does is, like, if I pull it up, you can see, it'll show you where all the planets are in relation to you. And I said, wow, that's cool. You got all the planets lining up. I didn't even know it was a big deal. Guess it's a big deal. The moon is lining up to lead a parade of planets across the pre-dawn sky on April 23rd. 5 visible planets in the solar system, 4 planets lining up the moon in a row. Saturn, Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, and then Mercury will join, I guess, in mid-June. You know, I was thinking of Neptune and Jupiter in that conjunction. I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if the conjunction happened around the same time that Joan's ashes were, you know, scattered in the scene? Or when or when, you know, she was either sainted or whatever, because this is 2 different times. So this Jupiter visiting Pisces every 12 years. However, Neptune took a break to visit Pisces due to its extremely slow movement around the sun. Senior astrologer for astrology.com says, for this reason, Jupiter and Neptune have not met in Pisces, the sign that they share rulership over. It's like, picture once again, Jupiter being a picture of Christ, you know, by its stripes we're healed. It's a big mass of planets known as the king planet. And then, of course, Neptune, the god of the sea. So the 2 of them kind of doing battle right now. It's this battle for the soul, right? The trident. For this reason, Jupiter and Neptune have not met in Pisces. Pisces being very significant fish and making fishers of men. This is the time right now. The net, Seine River. See what I'm saying? See, it's cast. The net's out there. And right now, that Seine River, we're trying to bring those fish in. Trying to get those fish into get them onto the boat so that they can, you know, follow Christ away from the well and not come back thirsty again. So they have shared rulership since 1856. 1856. So I thought, well, that would be interesting if 1856 was somehow connected. Still, I think very interesting, especially since Joan of Arc's story, everybody knows, but they really forget that really it was her faith. And with faith, you can move mountains. With faith, you can say, I'm going to lead the armies, and we are going to defeat the English, and then we're going to coronate the next king. What is your name? Why don't we just call you Joan of Arc? Why don't we... Oh God, I'm not like George. I'm not a mature man. So the Joan of Arc thing, I don't know if Joan is going to be found in there, because of course we were talking about Zechariah 5, how it was symbolic of the wickedness of the people, and that it was at the base of this major temple that was built, and that wickedness is going to be revealed in the earth, and where we're seeing a lot of wickedness. You know, it's going to be almost be like a blizzard, a storm. It's a storm of it. So after everything she did for the country and everything else, she ends up, getting imprisoned and sold to the English, and then, of course, put to death, and then burned at the stake, doing God's will. People do this, right? This happens, right? It's the ultimate laying down your life to save others. It's a great gift. Thank God for what Jesus did. Yahshua, for those who don't like that name that was given later. So, in my novel, there's a nightmare that the lead character has of the future, where he, in his 50s or so, he writes a novel, and it becomes like a big book, like a life-changing big book, and leads people in this liberating movement that threatens the world system. Not a great thing, right? So, but it's just a nightmare that the lead character has since he was 12. The first edition had this chapter at the very beginning of the book, but I thought it was way too spooky and it didn't really fit with the rest of the story. So I shared it where, actually would be shared, where they talk about it later. But I'm just going to read some of this to you because I find it interesting, especially with Joan of Arc's ashes and all being shared in the scene, the fishing net. Near future. Burn, 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 the people shout as another layer of ash blankets the ground. The light from the enormous inferno splashes an eerie shade of red on the crowd's anxious faces. I watch in agony as they throw page after page of my book into this mountain of flames. The air fills with the bitter smell of smoke. My eyes water. My throat swells. I stand here helpless for all to see. I am beaten. I am confused. My name is Thomas James, and I'm doomed to die by the hands of hate because I wrote words inspired by love. Death to Thomas, death to Thomas, the angry mob shouts as I quietly weep. They gather to watch the silencing of a voice that said a new day is about to rise. I cry not for my life. I know I will lose it. Instead, I cry for those lost to the great darkness covering the land. A wicked spirit spreads its wings. Man has become vicious, filled with lust and pride, committing unspeakable acts against others as well as himself. This is why I'm here. I was told to pick up my cross as the one before me. By my death, people will hear the words of my book. By my blood, they will finally understand the mystery of our existence. The book of Thomas James, my book, which they burn before me, is not a work of fiction, as some may say. It's a fiery truth cast into the sea of deception mankind calls life. I speak not of revolution in the world, but of a revolutionized thinking. This is my calling, my purpose, and my tears are for those who call me traitor. It must be like what Joan felt. Of course, that's symbolic of what Christ did for all of us and how each of us is given a purpose, a God-given purpose in the world. And I certainly hope that that's not what the future holds, but I know that God has a plan, and I know that God's plan can't fail. So I'm buckled up for what's coming. I hope you are too. Thank you for watching the program. Will you do me a favor and share the channel around, tell your friends about it and everything else? If I can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that Uranus video. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to try to just put it on the back of this show. So, I think you'll enjoy it. And it also tie into a lot of other cool stuff that just happens here on the program, right? Jacob's Ladder, just things happen. We don't know how. Well, we do know. We know God's behind it. We know God's in charge of everything, right? The author and the finisher of our faith, that's Christ. He is the author and the finisher of our faith, the perfecter of our faith. He's been there. He's done it. He's going to do it again in all of you. So don't worry. Don't be scared. Buckle up and have the best day ever. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again, drinking from my Uranus is a Planet cup. And no, this is not just some promotion to get you to go to the description and click the link and support the channel. I get $7 every time that somebody buys these and is happy. It's not the reason I'm doing this. This mug, which you know who've been here for a long time, right? This mug, there's more to Uranus is a Planet coffee mug than I knew. Can you believe that? Yep. I had no idea. Okay, the planet, Uranus, the planet. From now on, I'm going to start calling it Uranus. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. But now that I have some more information on this planet, this mythological planet, I think that it's time to share it with all of you. A little while ago, I was stumbling around on the internet doing some research. I don't know how this happened, but I uncovered and realized and found out that Uranus, the planet, which is the highest god in the Grecian mythology, right? The king of gods, the god of gods, the biggest and the baddest, the sky father. In the Greeks, they worshipped Uranus. Well, guess what? There's a little video that I did a long time ago, about 4 years ago, on a planet called Nibiru, right? We know the Sumerian mythology. We've talked about it on the show. If you don't know anything about this planet, it's a mythological planet. It comes in every once in a while. I have a playlist. Check it out. Explains probably why there's so many meteors. Explains why there's a lot of information that's being released, like that, we have alien crafts from other worlds, other planets. Well, a topic that I became very, very passionate about, this mysterious planet, Annunaki, right? All of these Sumerian gods, which is, one of the oldest religions to date, or we say one of the oldest religious texts to date that we have, the Sumerian tablets. Which Zechariah Sitchin is well known for trying to decipher these tablets. Well, this is where it gets a little weird, okay? Let me take another sip here because my throat's hurting a little bit and I gotta go to work. Uranus, right? Is a planet. Strange. It's strange that I chose this cup to be like this is the first thing that I ever offered as merch on the channel, because that as I talk about Planet 9, as I talk about Nibiru, as I talk about all these things, there's been a lot of information about Uranus and how, something smacked into it a long time ago. And every time that I talked about this, when I was talking about another subject, Nibiru, Planet Next, Planet 9, Hercopolis, because these are all connected, I always laughed. I got a kick out of just saying it because when I was a kid, it was kind of a goofy thing. So that's how I came up with this. Now this is where it gets a little strange. This is where it gets weird, okay? A little while ago, I'm doing this research. I don't know how I stumbled on it, but I find out that Uranus is actually another name for Anu. Oh, this is where it gets weird, people, right? Anu, which is the sky father, like the main god, the god of gods, right? In Sumerian mythology. This cup that I had no idea about, I had no idea that Uranus, I had no idea that it was connected to Nibiru. I didn't know. I'm not an astronomer, I'm not an astrologer. I just got a telescope just like a couple of years ago because I'm interested in the subject, and it doesn't even work. Or I don't know how to use it, one of the two. But the point is, I think that's strange, right? Don't you think that's strange? So here you have, I'm basically holding this mug. It's part of the show. You've been along the journey for a long time. It's been on the show for how long? That the one video that went viral that I didn't want to do. All right, we know this because I didn't want to talk about all this stuff because I was known to be I was like a theologian. At the time I was known to be I was a renowned writer for television, and I also talked about many wonderful things about the scriptures, and I was inside, and I actually started to go tour and speak. And then all of a sudden, one weird thing happens after another, all these dreams, and then I feel like I got to talk about something I don't want to talk about. One coincidence after another leads me to finally do it, after I was already kind of shamed by all of my peers because I said, in a couple of years, like 5 years' time, the world's going to be bonkers and scary and upside down. They all said that I was like a conspiracy guy, which I wasn't, but I had this feeling because as a writer, you look at the world and you see things, how they're going. You can't help but say where it's going. At the time that I was sharing the things that I share on my website, by the way, take a moment, go over there and subscribe. It's my website. It's free. jacobisrael.com. Go there, hit the email subscription, get on there, get connected. And I know if you follow me on Twitter, that's another thing too. In the description, you can see I have a Twitter link. You follow me there. But I had recently said that Facebook, for whatever reason, they decided that my, I said this in the last video, I think. They decided you can't do the website anymore. But go to the website. Go to the website and subscribe so that if anything happens here, which I don't think it's gonna, because I don't break the rules. I don't break the rules. My website didn't break the rules on there. Someone probably was like trolling me or saying some mean things or making up stories. I don't break the rules, so I don't think I'm going anywhere. But you know what? Subscribe there because I do share a lot of things on there that not everybody can hear on here that's watching now. Uranus is a planet, the mug. And I find out that this mug, this thing that I've made a joke on the channel, is actually the name for Anu, the Sky Father. That is incredibly strange. Now it gets a little weirder. Okay, so I do my little videos where I have the little VR background. This one, you look at the planet behind me. Sometimes I try to crop out the rings, but there are like 9 rings on that. Like you could almost count 11 rings on that planet that's behind me. I didn't even know about it. Guess what? Guess how many rings Uranus has? 11. Well, really, it's 13, they say, but 9 that are very, very visible, just like the one behind me. Hey, I'm coming from space. Look at my cool, funky hat. But look at the rings, right? That's not Saturn, people. Take a wild guess what planet that could be. Uranus! So strange, this icy planet. I think it's strange. Now, why am I doing a show on this? Because Jerry Lynn, she watches the show, and her husband, they like the show a lot. She's been doing a lot of research, and out of the blue, when I posted today, I just posted my thoughts about how I think that this is wonderful, and I think I should share it with you because I think it's interesting that I didn't know, and that it's uniquely linked to what made this show blow up and what brought me to, you're watching me now because of this topic that went viral, that then set a chain of events in order. And then here I'm drinking tea out of a cup, making jokes of Anu, the god of Nibiru, the highest god. That is strange. My daughter was born on 9/11, 2003. You know what was going on back then? Mars was closer to the Earth than it had been in 60,000 years. Now you want to hear even weirder? Right? 17 years later, because it was just her birthday, baby girl's birthday. Mars, close again. And you know what? It is actually higher in the sky and as bright as it was back then. It was so bright back then that when I wrote my novel, The Calling, I started my book talking about this because it was hanging like a bright orange star over my house when I lived in Texas. Mars appears, right, in the sky. It hadn't been there for whatever. Many would say that it's a sign of good things to come, and I think good things are coming. So Jerry on Twitter, she had said, you should do a show on this. And I said, you think? And then she said, yes, I do think. And there's a great conjunction coming up in December, which I have thought about doing a show on. Maybe I will. I don't know. But it's interesting because you got Jupiter and Saturn. You got the 2 pictures, right? You got the devil and you got Christ coming close together at the sun. This is a great conjunction, they say. Who knows? I don't really put my faith in all that stuff too much, but I know that the scriptures do say that there will be signs in the heavens. So, Uranus is a planet. Uranus is Annus. I got a great comment from somebody. I wish I took a picture of it. I snapped it because I knew that it was going to be relevant, and I can't remember who said it to me. They took the words Uranus and they spelled it out like this. U space R, Anu, apostrophe S. You are Annus. I am Annus, I guess. I thought that was really cool. if you're in the if you're watching right now, do me a favor in the comments, say I was the one that put that up there, and I'll pin it so people can see, because I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, listen, I love you guys. You know me. I am just somebody who really has great faith. I'm not really that stressed about the days ahead. I know that it's going to get bonkers, and I know it's going to get batty. I know a lot of people are really stressed out. But, I mean, the fact that, like, even my coffee cup, right? Even my coffee cup has some deeper meaning that I knew nothing about, because I'm just like a meatball, right? That's what I shared, too. I said that God, never think that you're nobody. Never think that you're nothing, because God uses the foolish things, right? The people that seem foolish and goofy. He uses them to confound the wise. It's a good thing. Trust the desire that God placed in your heart, because that desire is there for a reason. You want to encourage people, encourage people. You want to live for more, live for more. Believe that with faith, all things are possible, people. Don't be scared. Just buckle up and enjoy the ride. I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. If you want to get the cup, you want to support the channel, thank you. Thank you to all my patrons, too. I don't thank you all enough. Thank you for those who share. I don't thank you enough. Thank you for those who like and who comment, because you're making it easier for other people to find this place so that we can all climb the ladder together. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Jacob Israel. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and share this channel around. If these shows have helped you, help Jacob to reach more any way you can, and have the best day ever.